Tell me your story.
I was this close to dying from a brain abscess that was misdiagnosed.
Good to know people care, though.
For a lot of people, the MRIs are clear.
You said you had a lot to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said,
I thought it was normal to have like seizures by yourself all the time.
You definitely will feel guilt a lot.
I so appreciate you putting this together.
thank you. What's a cis woman? It says TLDR, my neurologist won't give me my medicine because I'm a cis woman of childbearing age. Cis woman.
Basically a straight woman with heterosexual female, born as female and attracted to men, I believe.
Hey, I don't want to judge anybody or get it wrong, so I won't say anything because I don't know what it is.
I was
Okay,
gonna
so
add
cis-
nothing. Oh, sorry.
No problem. Cis, it looks like is a come from it's a prefix that comes from Latin, and it means matches. So cis woman saying like your internal gender matches the one you were assigned at birth. Go ahead.
Okay,
I was gonna say nothing related to do with like gender or anything like that. But let's say this, whatever the person's situation is, if later they were to get pregnant or decide to make that decision, it's a lot harder to step down from a stronger seizure medication than it is to go up. I guess do you guys get what I'm saying? Like it's easier to it's harder to step back down. So if they do decide to eventually have one, it's probably going to be tougher on their body to try and back it down while they were pregnant, if that were the situation for them.
Getting off the meds is way easier than the first 3 months. That first trimester, that was a bitch compared to getting off of Vicompa.
Yeah, I'm not a parent, so I have no nothing to add, unfortunately. Sorry.
First comment here says, find a non-misogynistic neurologist. Putting personal belief above patient health is not safe. Jeff?
Sorry. You guys have it so hard with all these abbreviations. I don't know how you understand.
Google. Yeah, because a lot of these I didn't understand either. Yeah. Google taught me everything I need to know about things I don't know already. Yeah, one more comment here. It says, tell your doctor you want it documented in your chart that you're not being prescribed a medication.
But all these abbreviations that you have for everything, I mean, yes, it makes life a certain amount easier. But for guys like me, with some of these things, I have no clue is what you're talking about. End of rant.
Gotcha.
I'm with you there too, Jeff. So half these abbreviations I don't know. I'm like, just say the full word. Like when people, what annoys me so much, dude, I don't know why kids do it all the time where I work, dude, at the elementary school. They use like all these little acronyms and abbreviations, and I'm like, I just use your words. I have no idea what you're talking about. But what really bugs me is when people say LOL. It's like, if it's actually funny, then just laugh. Like you don't just
Put
laugh
a
at
smiley
it.
face.
Yeah, you
Rather
don't
a
need
smiley face than an LOL, but
you don't need to say LOL. Like either just laugh or go ha or yeah. So there's my rant.
And LOL is cool for some people, but here's another comment here. It says, tell your doctor you want it documented on your chart that they are not prescribing you a medication due to a hypothetically pregnancy over your own very real health. They might sing a different tune very quickly. If you're not having a child anytime soon, try telling your doctor that the Keppra is too aggressive or try and change your neurologist. One more. This is horrible. I'm so sorry. Buddy should be practicing. This is so irresponsible and awful and demeaning. When I saw the title, I thought you were going to say that you were trying for a baby or something. Get out of there and find a real doctor who cares about you and your well-being more than a patient. Right? Another one here. It says, does your doctor get mad if you have to try several meds before finding one that works? Every time I read patient stories, they talk about how sometimes they have 5 to 10 meds and combos before finding the right one. I thought that the doctor's job was to work with us on that. Every time I had to do this, my doctor tolerates it for a few tries and then he starts to refuse and gets difficult and tells me that my body is just too sensitive and acts like it's my problem. I don't get what he has to deal is, and I don't get what his actual deal is, and I have a situation. I don't like being dependent on someone who doesn't even want to help me. This is the 3rd time it has happened, and I'm tired. I'm not enjoying that I have dangerous reactions to a lot of meds, but there's no reason to conclude that it means I won't ever tolerate any other med. I just feel like I'm going crazy because I do things by the book, by trying meds and reporting adverse reactions, and to just be told overtly that I'm too sensitive. Am I being annoying? You're not being annoying. You're just telling the doctor how you feel, and I thought that's how shit goes. Just tell them how you feel and figure it out. But
I mean, why?
Yeah, that's their job, is to work with you on figuring that stuff out. They shouldn't be getting mad at you, for it. I honestly could not tell you how many medications I've tried over the 20 years since my first seizure. My body just doesn't handle them all that well, and then, like I said, I have issues with my pancreas and my stomach, so some of that eliminates a couple of medications right there on the pancreatic issues. And then other ones I've just had to go through because I'm either, zombie mode or they're just not working out right. I would say that, yeah, you shouldn't feel ashamed or embarrassed or whatever if you don't feel like you're getting the right care. Ask to, see another doctor or something, or, at least a second opinion on it, because it sounds like you're not being treated fairly or taken as seriously as you should be.
Yeah, doctor doesn't take you serious, or they make you feel bad. It's always good to get a second opinion. I forgot who said it best. Second opinion. I say second, third, fourth, however makes you feel better. Best of 3, best of 5, whatever.
Yeah, especially something like this. It's not something where it's like you have, like your liver is failing and you're still choosing to go and, down a 12 pack every night. This isn't something that, we have control over, if that makes sense,
Right.
Like, you don't want to get a cold, you're not going to go lick, like a handrail, like out in public or something, right? You don't want to damage your liver, you don't drink all the time. But with seizures, I mean, there are certain things that you can avoid or can trigger them a little bit more, but we all know that we just don't have control over it. So you shouldn't be. I know I'm ranting now, I'm sorry, but it just makes me mad that a doctor would make somebody feel that way over, something that they don't have control over.
It's okay to rant. You can teach somebody something. Somebody might learn something from you, something you have to say. But go ahead, Jeff.
Sorry. I have to ask a question which maybe nobody remembers. A little while ago, you read a post about a 19-year-old girl and an older guy, and then she was 29, and was he 41 at that point, or was he 41 when he met her?
He's 41
He's
when he met her.
41 now, and she's 29.
Yeah.
No?
He met her
No,
at
it was
19.
19 and 41, 29 and 51.
Oh, okay. I got it. So it was just comeback. Okay. Sorry.
One comment here says, shitty neurologists. No, they should not be getting upset. This is literally their job. Not only is it common sense, but we learn in medical school that everyone processes drugs differently, or in enzymatic. Is that how you say that? Enzymatic level. I second the person who suggests the liver enzyme panel. I'm really sorry you're going through this. I have epilepsy too, and it sucks. The struggle is real. Stay strong, my friend. We had the same experience. Switch doctors. It's worth it. Look for an epileptologist. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to look for an epileptologist because this doctor that I have now is pretty cool dude, but I haven't met him yet, and he wants to do it over the phone. So, what do you guys think about that? A neurologist who wants to do the first visit over the phone?
That used to be not allowed because the insurance wouldn't cover it, but that might have just been the private insurance that I had.
You mean teleconsultation?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Actually, I wouldn't say it's a consultation. It's kind of just my appointment. Yeah.
But there is supported in your place, right?
Say that one more time.
It's supported in your place, right? I mean,
It's a common practice, but not usually for a first appointment.
I see.
Yeah. Go ahead, James.
Oh, I was just going to add in there that most of my neurology appointments are over the phone, but never like a first one or anything like that. Or if it's something where I need, obviously I've had like 2 or 3 in a day or something, then I'm gonna actually go to the ER depending how bad they are, or make a in-person appointment. Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about like the very first time having it as a phone appointment, but
that's when you look up the reviews for the doctor.
Yeah.
But what do you feel about that? I mean, the relationship between, sorry, I mean the difference between you directly meet the doctor and between teleappointment, like Pookie said.
It's a telehealth. It's over the phone, and
Yeah, no, I mean,
basically over something like this, talking to him. Yeah, I don't like that to be the first appointment though, because I have a feeling he's going to try to prescribe something, and I'm going to tell him no, and he's going to disagree, and I'm going to ask for a second opinion. That's exactly how that's going to go. But I'm not taking first prescriptions over the phone just on how you feel something might happen. And I have a really, really good feeling he's going to say, well, since you're having 3 seizures a year, let's throw on some Keppra. Another neurologist said that. So
okay.
I'm going to go best of 4, best of 5, because so far it might be 2 and 2. But yeah, I'm not taking Keppra, regardless of what anyone says. I'm letting the doctor know that. You can figure it out from there, but I'm not taking Keppra. I will not deal with that medication again. Didn't like it. Didn't like myself. People are bringing back those days for me. All right, Mark, we'll see you later. Yeah, people remind me
Later,
about
Mark.
what was going on and how I was acting back in those days, and I was like, ooh, that was kind of rough, just doing dumb stuff. Yeah.
We've got another post here. Somebody asking, do you always tell someone when you're having an aura? I feel lonely sometimes because most of my seizures don't turn into TCs. I usually don't say anything when I get into a focal seizure, but they're so scary that I always went to tell someone just so I'm not going through it alone. I feel like I have I have to hold myself together and be quietly strong through the struggle, but my auras are daily and it's hard. Also, seizures and auras make me so tired and sick. Sometimes I wish I could mind meld with those around me so they could understand what I go through day to day. Still, I have a lot to be thankful for, and I'm glad I have people who care about me. So this person is struggling with telling someone every time they have an aura, and that happens on a daily basis, just so they're not going through it alone. But they don't say why they don't want to speak up. So I can't tell if the people around them maybe are just starting to give them a like, okay, why am I here kind of reaction. But I can see why they're second guessing themselves. The first comment is a really good reminder here. An aura is a seizure. So it sounds like in this person's case, they might have to get everybody on the same page. Next comment is saying that what if the aura is small? It's still a seizure, and it's a sign that your threshold is low and that something should be addressed. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. This comment saying, for me, my focals are only 15 seconds, maybe shorter, but there's a reason why it happened, and it's important to know because it doesn't take a lot for them to reach across your whole brain instead of just half. Yeah, so I mean, if whoever posted this is listening in and you happen to catch, don't ever feel ashamed or,
Gonna say,
guilty
well,
for asking for, anybody's support. Those auras are intimidating, not, far from healthy. And it's a lower threshold. It does mark that you are more susceptible to a generalized seizure, a bigger one.
Yeah, if I need assistance and I need help, I've learned to just not be afraid of asking for help anymore. Not too big to ask for help. Was like that for a while, but it did look like it was a bother on some people that I was asking for too much. And then I just stop caring about I'm asking too much. I'm gonna ask and I'm gonna figure out what you like or not. I'm gonna figure it out, but I'm gonna ask. I'm not gonna let myself be in a bad situation when I don't have to be. Yeah, so anything can progress to a TC. So don't put yourself in a position to have a TC.
This comment says it just right. They're saying there was one time I played it off, and that's when it turned into a TC and I went unconscious. I let everyone in my circle know I deal with this so they know what to do. And irony does tend to kick in for these kinds of things.
You
As
got some
people
more?
said in aura. Yeah, I was just looking at some more of these comments because everybody is literally giving their own perspective on it, saying, as people said, an aura is a seizure that doesn't increase or spread the electrical problem, which is why you don't recognize full TC feelings. Mine are epigrastic seizures, the feeling of sickness rising up from the stomach. Most I've been able to call out to my wife. It's scary on your own, especially when walking on a beach. Yeah, feeling sick to your stomach, but knowing it's not a gastrointestinal thing. And this one is saying, I find it really difficult to explain to people what an aura feels like in the first place. I've managed to explain it somewhat to people close to me. So when I'm around them, I kind of say I'm having a brain reboot, and they understand that I just need to feel calm for a moment, and that speaking to me will probably make me feel worse. So we just sit there for a moment. Boyfriend usually puts his arms around me and just holds me till it's over. But yeah, I can see why the original poster might be confused about just what to or how to explain these auras to somebody you don't know as well. But once again, live and learn. If it ever happens in public or with somebody you're not as you're friendly with, then try to come up with maybe a shorter explanation of what to do, what it might look like. And if they're legit, they'll stick around. All right, next one up. Well, any opinions on that one? Do you guys have auras?
Yeah, of
Right?
course.
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So Ipan, has there ever been any hesitancy to
Oh my
tell others
God!
about the auras?
Almost each time, almost each time, in apa, yeah, related to my sister, I always have an aura. It's really annoying. Really annoying. Aura is, and the doctors always ask me, what's aura feels like to you, and I can't answer it. I can't answer it at all because I don't know what to answer because it's really confusing to answer. It's I can feel it, but I can describe it. I can explain. I can't explain it to the doctor, but I can feel it. I can feel it. But
But to get an
I can't.
outsider to understand it.
Yeah, I can describe it to the neurology. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the doctor.
aura is yeah, it's like that.
So what about those around you? I mean, are you kind of used to asking for it? Like, do your auras kind of trigger a feeling of needing help or needing support, somebody to kind of talk you through it?
Yeah, of course. Especially
okay.
my wife, especially my wife. After thanks God, we almost yeah, I know it's not too long, but thanks God, it's almost 12 years right now. She slowly know how I having an aura seizure and
So she
something
can
like that.
recognize it without you
Yeah,
even calling out.
yeah.
Okay.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This next one is saying, I feel oftentimes we really let the bad sides of epilepsy get to us. Obviously, it isn't funny, but has anyone had any funny experiences because of epilepsy? We appreciate the humor from people who get it. So I could agree with that. I don't feel awkward at all laughing about funny seizure stuff here. But a lot of other times with, people who don't get it, then they look like they're trying really hard not to laugh, even if I'm trying to be funny.
Well, they
What
don't
about you,
get it.
James? Yeah.
I laugh at myself all the time.
And there's no harm in that. Feels way better.
Yeah, you have to. What else can you do but laugh at yourself?
Yeah,
Laugh
Yeah,
or
you're just
cry.
gonna just end up letting it eat away at you if you don't,
Right.
try and crack a joke about it once in a while or something. You gotta, yeah, gotta take it with a grain of salt, and sometimes just laugh about it. Because what else? Like you said, yeah, what else can you do? There's nothing really funny about it. You just gotta try and put a smile on your face and wait a day for the soreness to go away, or however
Pretty
bad
much.
it was, or whatever type you guys have. But yeah.
Yeah,
Like
the
I
the
still,
wandering ones are annoying. If I leave the house without shoes and then I come to on the pavement, obviously it's really hot. So
ouch.
those, yeah, those get old. But they don't happen very much. So no harm in making a joke about it, a couple months later. Or when we're on a trip or
Yeah,
something, we're really far
when the
from here.
blisters go away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, like I told you guys I had one on Thursday morning while I was taking a shower. For those that were here on Friday, I mentioned it. But I had zero recollection of waking up, shaving, getting in the shower, nothing. I just woke back up a little bit later and went go turned on the shower, and then my dad knocks on the bathroom door, and I'm like, dude, I'm getting in the shower. What the hell? So I'm like, I peek open the door, and he was like, what are you doing? You already took a shower. I was like, what? And then like I like kind of felt my head, and I was like, oh, my hair is wet. He was like, yeah, James, you had a seizure while you were in the shower. I was like, oh, so that's why I have a headache and my muscles are all sore and everything. And so, but I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just take another little bit of a half-hour nap or so before I go to work then, I guess, since I already showered. So I still ended up going to work. I mean, I'm only there for, hour and a half, a couple hours each day anyway, but still, it wasn't bad enough that I just, stayed in bed all day or nothing. I still rode my bike to work, worked for a bit, and got home and was sore for a couple of days, but yeah, it was weird. There's like, other times I don't know, it was more obvious. I had like a big bruise or a cut, or I was more sore. I had zero memory of the whole morning up until, up until my dad told me I had already taken a shower.
I got a
And
funny
those are the
one.
parts you can laugh at. Go ahead.
I got one. I wouldn't exactly say it's funny, but I laughed at it. I guess it was funny to me. To my family, no. Like, you're in public doing this. One, I didn't tell anybody about the one in the house. Actually, I think I did. I told my mom. I was in bed one day and I was like, I'm thirsty. I remember thinking the I'm thirsty part. And then when I came to, I don't remember walking to the kitchen at all, but when I came to the counter, the cup was on the counter and I was pouring the juice in the cup. And I had the juice like upside down. So the cup was just filling up fast and then there was juice all over the counter and stuff. So I found that one funny. Yeah, we were kind of out of juice back then, but I found it funny for the most part at that time. And then there was the one where at the train station, yeah, I stepped back from the platform so the train could not hit me, of course. And yeah, when I came to, I was taking a selfie and the train was pulling off. I laughed at that one. My family did not. It's not something to laugh at when you're in public alone. I could see where they're coming from, but it was hilarious to me. Yeah, made it to
And
my
that's your
destination.
benefit.
Maybe 30 minutes late, but I made it there and
You
back.
see?
I
So
got
that
some.
still sounds like a victory.
Tell us, you got any funny stories?
Anytime someone asks about a funny seizure story, the one that always pops in my mind is the dog crate story. After a seizure, I went and took a nap in a dog crate and somehow locked myself in and then could not figure myself out of it.
You locked yourself in a dog crate,
I
Toaster?
locked myself in a dog crate. My
That
mom
takes
came
some
home
skill.
and was like, "What are you doing?" Of course, I
That's
remember none of
hysterical.
it. I just remember the story afterwards.
Did you go to sleep?
Exactly.
Yes, there's a pillow in there. My mom keeps the dogs really, really nicely pillowed.
Oh, at least you got a pillow.
They have like memory foam pillows.
At least you had a
Wow.
soft place to lay down.
Exactly. My mom little spoils our dogs. She spoils me too, but yeah.
That's nicer
That's a
than
good
where I
one.
landed.
Oh yeah.
Where'd you
Somebody
land?
else is saying, okay.
My only story is I woke up on the kitchen floor, and the only thing I remembered was the floor coming towards my face and thinking, oh shit, this is gonna hurt. And then I woke up on the floor and texted my partner, and I'm sure he probably really freaked out because I was still, out of it, not only from having a seizure, but also from smashing my face into the floor. And I was like, hey, babe, I think I just had a seizure, but don't worry, I'm fine. I'm trying to get the bleeding stopped.
That is not what he wants to hear. And tell me that wasn't a FaceTime, that wasn't a video message, that was just text.
Just a text that he found at some point in time. Could have been 10 minutes later. I don't know, but
Yeah.
he got home promptly.
Isn't
Yes,
it
Toaster.
isn't it amazing that sometimes you can't remember anything, but sometimes you can remember like the exact few moments right before it hits you. Like I remember being at the dentist one time and saying, I'm going to lay down, taking off my jacket, using it as a pillow, and that's it. It's like those few seconds right before it hits. Sometimes, I mean, but there's a few instances where I do remember it, just like right before, but only right before.
And you tell a doctor that they probably wish they had some EEG.
Yeah,
That's the kind of thing you want to be able to see. How do you do this? How does your brain even
like the
maintain
time
something?
that I hallucinated my mom coming into the EMU room with a beautiful kimono, and I can remember the details. It was a blue silk kimono with cranes on it, and I was in a seizure, and then went into a TC right afterwards. With like they have me calling out for Ema, or mom, and my mom wasn't even in the room. She was
Wow.
going to get coffee or
And you
tea,
didn't do
one or the other.
anything special to induce these seizures.
Oh no, I was in the EMU, so I had no sleep,
That's what I mean. Were you? Oh,
Oh.
okay. So it's there's usual stressors.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I remember that. Sometimes you can remember some very weird, specific details, like that floor coming right at you. That's getting closer.
I bet that's something worth remembering. Somebody, a funny story on the comments is when I have seizures, I usually start really creepily laughing loudly. And so one time I went to the cinemas with my friends to watch the Barbie movie. And in one part of the movie, they made this joke that was not meant to be actually funny at all. And right when they said it, I started having a seizure. So I was the only one in the cinema laughing loudly to this really bad joke. The comments on that one are just saying thankfully it was the Barbie movie and not some horror movie where somebody's like laughing really creepy behind you.
Yeah,
That could have been worse.
I've seen someone do that. One person laugh and like everyone's turned around looking like that was not funny. Yeah. Yeah, so that was wild. Only because the person
My
was like 3 or 4 seats from next to me, and then everyone was looking up at us. You couldn't really tell who they were looking at, but he was laughing like it was really, really, really funny. And I forgot what it was, but it wasn't that funny. And no one else found it funny. So,
yeah, you can
that
never
was a funny
trust
one too.
somebody's reaction if it's not natural. I
Um,
know I read this one before.
I got something that says, "Can I have a half-conscious seizure? I'm epileptic, but I haven't had a recorded or confirmed seizure since I was 10. I woke up this morning and my whole body tense, including my calf, which was still sore, and I could not move. And I was crying and making noises like I couldn't control it. I think I even TMI peed a little bit, not enough to not enough on anything. Could this possibly be a seizure? And should I talk to my doctor? I'm already on trileptal for bipolar. This all lasted for about a minute, or that's what I felt like. Yes, I say you ask your doctor, especially if you haven't had one since 10. That sucks for it to pop up out of nowhere, depending on how old you are. I'll read the first comment. It says, yes, I have seizures are called myoclonic jerks, and I stay fully conscious the entire time, but my arms and legs jerk uncontrollably. They're also most likely to happen after I wake up in the morning, especially if I haven't gotten enough sleep. Definitely talk to a doctor because this sounds like very similar to what I experienced. Another person says it very well could be. Another one, yep, been there, done that. Another comment says, yes, you can. And that surely sounds exactly like a seizure. You definitely need to see a doctor. Conscious seizures, anyone? I wouldn't know if this was conscious or not, but I had a seizure that was also on the funny side of things. Well, the ending was on funny side of things, but when I crashed into the center divide, that wasn't funny in particular. But at the end, when I was in and out of the seizure as the ambulance were coming, I kept blinking like long blinks, and like there was a guy running towards us in a Santa outfit. And that's what I remember. That was hilarious because it was Christmas Day. And luckily it was a doctor who had just left his job and knew what to do. And he seen me hit the wall and he stopped and ran back. That was the funny part. I kept remember blinking and seeing this guy in a Santa suit. So when I was told the story afterwards, they were like, yeah, that happened. Why don't you remember this, this, and this, but you remember this part?
The doctor who is Santa.
Sometimes it's just funny that certain parts you remember because it's funny.
You
So,
got saved by Santa?
And he was a doctor. I
You
did
got
not
to
know.
remind me of this.
I didn't know
come
that
wintertime.
I didn't know that doctors, like when they are doctors or stuff like that in the medical field, when they see a car accident, I think he said he has to pull over or something. He had to come help. Even though
part of
he's
the oath and all that.
It's part of their oath or it's required by their something or other that they're required to. I think paramedics and EMTs and stuff are the same way.
Oh yeah, because he surely wasn't on the job. He still had a Santa costume on, and he was driving a Honda Civic and not an ambulance. So I was like, yeah, he's fresh off the job, and I just remember blinking, very long blinks. You guys know those long blinks are. You blink and it's 30 seconds later. Yeah. He went from about 100 feet away to 15 feet away to standing over me. Yeah, just standing outside the ambulance, watching me pull off. Yeah, that was a funny story for me. But yeah, I was half conscious, I could say, because I was kind of in and out of it. Would that be half conscious? I think it would. Anyone agree?
Yeah, sure.
Something like that.
Okay. Okay, you
I
got
had
anything?
one that was conscious that I told you about already. Wait a second, please.
Sure. Some of these other funny stories are kicking in too. Somebody said my boyfriend once thought I was possessed. I found him the next morning with all the kitchen knives under the other side of the bed.
That's scary.
Yeah, he must have really taken her seriously. In elementary school, age 10 or 12, I was walking to school with my mom and sister. My sister and I were fooling around. She pushed me by accident on the concrete floor and I had a seizure. Apparently, I started speaking gibberish. She thought I'd been possessed by aliens and learned another language. Would have loved to see that. They called 911 and I ended up missing a day of school. The comments on that one are just saying aliens would have been better.
I got something you guys might find pretty interesting, or maybe it's just me finding stuff interesting, thinking you guys would find it interesting, but I'll just go about
Never
it.
know if you don't try.
It's very short. It's just a question for you guys, and then I'll go through the comments. The question is only, can people with epilepsy give themselves a seizure by rapidly blinking? Yes or no question. Sorry for the dumb question, and God bless. Personally, I don't believe that's possible, but everyone's body is different. So
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
Your body,
Nope,
your
it's not
body.
working.
Kate, how do you feel about that? Think you can blink your way into a seizure?
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. The eyelids are muscles, and yeah, I don't think your body can actually, it is meant to cause itself harm like that.
Yvonne, you
So
ever had something similar to this happen?
Nope. Nope. Never in my life.
Yeah, it's quite odd. I'm go through some of these comments. One says it's different for everyone, but I don't think so. My seizures have never been triggered by light. My brain struggles to transition from sleeping to awake, so most often I have them within the hour of waking up, or almost immediately if I'm woken up. That could be something like, you scared me. Now I'm awake and I had a seizure. That would suck. Someone says depend on the type of seizure, or no, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I feel like it brings me close, but I don't think it would trigger a seizure. It just mimics the, end quote, confusion state that usually precedes every seizure. Last comment. One says only a very small percentage of less than 5% are photosensitive. So maybe of us who are not triggered by flashing lights. Everyone is different, and we all have different triggers, so it's not really a yes or no for any trigger. Rapidly blinking, I think, wouldn't cause one, but you really never know these days. Yeah, I don't think it's possible for me. Andrea, how do you feel about that? Personally,
I don't necessarily think so, but at the same time, brains are weird and there's a lot we don't know. So
okay.
never say never, I guess.
Okay, you guys, I'm gonna read this, and I want everyone to get an answer. Well, everyone, of course, can relate to this one. Get an answer before it's your turn. It says, what constitutes a, end quote, walkable city? I developed epilepsy about 2 years ago, and I'm still learning the ropes. Losing the ability to drive is obviously a big change, but all things considered, I think I've done a decent job adjusting to being bicycle dependent. That said, it's definitely still a limitation, and getting around town is often much more hasslesome, especially when I need transportation to a lot of stuff. I live in a medium-sized city in California, about 7 to 8 miles across. I'm told that we have a pretty good bus system, but sometimes it takes over an hour to get across town. I'm new to the public transit, so I'm not sure if that's normal. Anyway, of course, now the idea of, end quote, walkable city is on my mind, but frankly, I don't really know what it means outside of huge, extremely dense city. I just feeling capable and free and independent. What constitutes a walkable city? If you're not in a rural area, I'd say that's a walkable situation. James, how you feel about Fremont, California? Is it a walkable city?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on, how exactly you would view that. I mean, Fremont's pretty huge. I'm close to the border of Union City in Fremont, so I'm on
You're in the good parts.
there. So getting somewhere to Pacific Commons or the Mission, area of Fremont, it's still the same city, but that's a pretty far, distance, right? Like it's like 15 miles or so across. So, but where I'm at, like I said, is pretty close. Within a half a mile, I have a couple of shopping centers that has a Lucky, the supermarket in it. It's got a few restaurants. There's like a haircut place in there, so I can get most of my like basic necessities kind of within like a mile or so of my house. So I'm relatively fortunate, I guess I would say, compared to a lot of others in our situation.
Yeah, around your area, you definitely have a walkable city.
Yeah. And
You
then
guys
too,
have
I'm also
shopping
fortunate.
centers everywhere in
Yeah.
that area.
I was gonna say, and I'm fortunate too, because when I was working full time, I was a bicycle mechanic. I was a service manager. I had been working in bicycle shops since I was 15 years old. I'm 39 now, so so I know my way around. A bicycle. I have multiple bikes already, even before I lost my license. So I'm kind of fortunate enough just to already do my own maintenance and have a decent electric bikes and things like that. I could definitely be in a much worse situation than I am. Yeah, I guess so to say.
Toaster?
What I would call a walkable city is kind of actually plugging off what James said, having everything in a central location. I wouldn't call Charlotte a walkable city. Kind of, sorta. You have to. With Charlotte, it's funny. It's like it's all. Yeah, I would not call Charlotte a walkable city, but it is. But the public transportation is so well that it negates that. And so, if I didn't have my parents or my parents couldn't take me, I do have the possibility of easily walking less than half a mile to the bus stop and
Yeah.
getting on the bus to take me to the grocery store, the doctor, where I need to go. It has a very good public transportation. So while it's not very walkable, I think it's negated. Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
around here, it's very walkable. I think I've only lived in walkable cities. Like everywhere I've lived, there's been shopping centers like so close. Like, yeah, I think I've always been a city boy. I can assume because now I know all I've seen was cities.
Maybe I just need to up my standards. I was about to say that Fort Pierce is a walkable city, but that's just because there's a corner store. It's nothing that you would want to walk to necessarily,
No,
but
no. Here,
once the power
Corner
comes back
stores
on after a
save
hurricane.
lives. You know,
yeah,
milk.
we got right here at the corner, right? Like if you pull out of the driveway to the parking lot, there's a gas station at the corner, like, but some people, since it's back down the road, some people will turn out of the wrong side of the driveway if there's no traffic there and like hurry up and get in the parking lot of the gas station. Otherwise, you got to go up the street and then come all the way back of the center divide and all that.
Risky.
Yeah, they risk it, or they'll back up all the way into that parking lot out of the driveway. Yeah, it's wild.
That's even worse.
But then across the street from that is 7-Eleven, and then across the street from that is a grocery store, Cardina's, I believe. And then in the parking lot of that grocery store is also a liquor store. And then what would it be? Taqueria's across the street. Taco Tuesday that I missed today is right there. And if you go the opposite direction down the street, there's smoke shops, a Smart and Final, grocery outlet, a Lucky's, another shopping center with gas and restaurants. Yesterday I went to Popeyes and then I noticed there's a Subway over there, a Hawaiian barbecue, a Nations, places I never walked and knew things were down there. I guess it pulled into the parking lot and all you see is Lucky's and never paid attention to all the restaurants surrounding it. But also, yeah, the opposite direction. If you go further than that, you can go clothes shopping. There's a pharmacy down that way. It's a lot of food down there. In-N-Out Burger and Raising Cane's is newest. And you can go clothes shopping down there. And there's an arts and crafts store. So this is a very walkable place. And then we got an emergency room. I mean, it isn't a hospital, but we have literally emergency room. They don't have the inpatient stay. They'll send you to another place across town. Yeah. But yeah, Jeff, you think if you wanted to walk around, you could get around town easily?
No. I'm in a rural area, miles from town. And I'm not at all. There's no way I could even walk into town. Then when I walked into town, I couldn't get everything I needed anyway. So I would have to go to a couple of different areas to get everything I needed. And I think a lot depends on what you consider a walkable town. I mean, I lived in Manhattan, New York for most of my life, well, for a good part of my life. And you could walk anywhere and get anything, but you couldn't walk from one end of the island to the other. I mean, I walked to work every day. If I wanted to go to a restaurant, I walked. But if you wanted to go
I know what you
from
mean.
Wall Street to Harlem, you couldn't.
I know exactly what you mean. That's what I'm thinking about with Charlotte. If you wanted to go from where I am to the university area, that is definitely not walkable. Hell, from here to the downtown area is not walkable. But once you get to the shopping center, there's everything there. There's the pharmacy, the smoke shop, the grocery store, taekwondo. Hell, there's even a bookstore.
A bookstore.
Yes,
Wow.
all in one shopping center.
In 2025, there's a bookstore?
Yeah, Troubadour Books.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yes, it's my favorite. You know where I am when Jeffrey's in taekwondo
Yes,
a lot of
of
times.
course.
I've
Where
walked to
else
the
yeah.
would you
mall.
be?
So the mall is only maybe a mile and a half away. The walk. So yeah, I've walked to the mall maybe 40 minutes, something like that. Yeah, otherwise catch Uber for like $7. It's really not that far. It's the only thing about going over the overpass is another thing. Yeah, and then when you don't let people know where you are, it's pretty interesting. I feel like I'm on edge when I'm riding down the roads alone and I'm not supposed to be.
It's the
have
Apple AirTag.
that's
Or an
actually
iPhone.
going to be in the Brainstorm Chronicles tomorrow. There's no way I can get it today. Is your wanderings. You need to be safe. There's no way to stop them. But you need to be safe. So always wear your alert bracelet, even when you're not planning on going anywhere, because you never know when your dog's going to run out again. You're already doing it. Never mind. You know what? This big sister talk is not needed.
Keep it on me. You got to be safe at all points. I actually got to use it recently. I went in the store and he was like, "You can't have that dog in here." I was like, "Hey, finally get to use it on him." I told him, "You see this?" I was like, "You want to come help me between those aisles if I have a seizure?" He's like, No. I understand. I don't know why I did the accident. I shouldn't have done the accident. I'm not going to tell you what race he is because that was really bad. But yeah, he was really adamant about me not having the dog. He came from behind the register And I was like, yeah, I have seizures. And I was like, otherwise, you're going to help me between these aisles picking me up. And even though the dog isn't seizure worthy, I still got to use it.
Yeah. Don't do that because seizure dogs have special licenses that they have to wear at all times.
At 7-Eleven, they don't know that.
Now I can't wait
Okay,
to see
that's
how
true.
your character plays out tomorrow. This is gonna be so excited that whole thing. Not only were you wearing your bracelet, but you used it wrong. So what's your character gonna do with Toaster?
I know now something might have to happen.
Right? You're keeping yourself safe, but
I use it on
you
the
know,
bus.
How I get my handicap placard.
Yeah, it was a full day on the bus one day, and I was just like, either I'm gonna sit in between this thing that was really uncomfortable, and then there was this guy, he was just standing in front of it, and he wasn't really sitting. And I was just like, he's kind of taking up a spot, but no one else is disabled, so they're not caring about that seat he's blocking. It's like, hey, bro. It's like, can I sit there? He's like, oh, all right. Just let me sit down. But I was waiting for him to disagree and then show him, go out there. If I don't sit down there and I have a seizure and you're not going to help me,
Does
I
anyone
suggest you let me
feel
sit.
that their family members sometimes offer the information before it becomes even pertinent? Because I've
oh yeah.
noticed a lot. And yes, I am bringing this up to my therapist. That my mom, like today, we were at the grocery store. We were just, and I, I was with her, and she just offered up to the cashier. Yeah, she lives with me. She has to. She has epilepsy. And while it kind of saved me face of being that 36-year-old living in your mother's basement image, it was still like, I mean, yeah, I wear the bracelet all the time too.
That's still TMI.
Yeah, I just felt a little over, and she's done this a lot recently. The waiter at Hawthorne's, actually, we had a pretty good conversation about it. He asked what to do. It's like, okay, you know what? Then maybe that
Wasn't
was.
planning on discussing this over lunch today.
No, I wasn't.
My Uber driver, no, I actually got a Lyft. I always say Uber, but my Lyft driver yesterday, I told him I had a podcast or whatever, and he was like, oh, nice, and this, and that, and it eventually led to, it's for people who have epilepsy, and I was like, and I have epilepsy, and he was like, oh, cool, and I was like, you know what epilepsy is? And he was like, yeah. He was like, I heard of it, and I was like, you've heard of epilepsy, and you know what it is? And he was like, yeah, it's seizures. He didn't really know much, but he knew what epilepsy was enough to be like, it isn't a disease or something we can get rid of or something like that. He knew that much. I asked him, I was like, you know someone who hasn't related to someone? It's like, nope, I just know what epilepsy is. And it was like, oh, okay, nice. That's the first time I met someone who knew something without having someone or a story like, oh, I have a cousin like that or a nephew, great aunt or stuff. People always have a story with someone they heard of, my neighbor and all stuff like that. But I ran into someone who did know someone, and I think we got so deep into a conversation going less than a mile that's how I forgot my phone in his car. Two phones. So yes, I luckily left the iPhone there, and luckily the other phone had the mobile hotspot on it, so the iPhone could always be tracked. But I called the phone from the UPS place over and over, and then he finally answered. And yeah, tipped him when I didn't have to, but yeah, I did that.
That'll still come back as good karma. Can't hate on yourself for that.
Man, it was like $60 to go get a piece of chicken. I added that all into account because it's like,
Damn.
I went to drop off a package at UPS and I went to get chicken. So that should have been like a $15 trip.
Well, you got there and back, and it was safe overall.
So add it
let's
up.
just
It's
focus
like
on the positive.
it's like 8 for chicken. The Uber ride there was $7, so that's 15 right there.
Did you
seven
share?
$7 back would be another $7, so that's $22. But instead of that, I gave the Uber driver 10 cash for bringing back my phone, and then I had to pay Lyft $10 just to use my app again. No, $20, and they gave him the $20. So then my sister was like, "Oh no, you shouldn't have paid him because they're gonna pay him." And I was like, "It's too late." I was just like, I just gave him that. I was thankful to get my phone back, and that's when I found out, you guys, that we need these phones. These phones are lifelines because when I was sitting there, that's the first time I went through something where I was like, "What do I do?" And I was going through an emotional moment over a cell phone. I was stranded now. I didn't have money. I was like, okay, this means I need to get cash on me now. Going forward, I need to keep cash in my wallet because
You can't even get a ride without your phone.
I couldn't even call for a ride. I couldn't even buy anything. Like I couldn't buy the chicken that I went there for. I would just basically
Hailing a cab is a thing of the past.
I know. I took a lift to the smoke shop once, and they left me, and I didn't have my phone. I had left it at home. I was like, I was stuck there. Luckily, the people at the store let me call my parents, let me use their phone. I was like,
I wouldn't even know the number. I wouldn't even. I don't have enough numbers memorized.
Right. That's the thing.
My mom is a genius. All of our numbers are like so close to each other. So it's easy for me to remember. It's like I'm calling my mom, the whole week she just picks up.
I instantly started thinking, whose number do I know?
I'm still like, I've got it.
What's up, Jeff?
And I don't know anybody's number. So I was really like stranded in the parking lot, like having a mental breakdown, but I was silently having a mental breakdown, and it was hilarious to me afterwards. And I'm sorry, Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff. I had another part after that.
See, this is another good thing about the Dark Ages. There were phone booths all over the place. Everywhere you went, there was a phone booth. You were never out of touch.
The only reason
We
my son
only
knows
needed
what
a
a phone
nickel.
booth is Doctor Who.
Right.
I was sitting here thinking, remember when we could have a quarter and call home?
A quarter was a nickel.
What's a quarter?
Right.
I'm not quite as old as you, evidently, Jeff.
Nobody's quite as old as me.
Inflation.
I remember the call. I remember the quarter. The quarter call was it, or 1-800-COLLECT.
Yeah,
Some
10
people,
10 10 10 3 2 1. Remember, like all
some
the
people
collect.
would get the collect call, and they'd be like, "No, I'm not accepting that." Sometimes people would. So yeah, there's
So
that.
now,
But these
If
days,
you guys ever saw the original cell phones, you would die.
yeah, I remember the big ones, the brick
A
phones.
brick?
Big phones, you needed a over the shoulder bag to carry it.
You remember the back
Oh
phones?
wow!
Yes,
Big
yes. And
antenna.
they came in a freaking suitcase.
My
That's
mom
right.
I
had a back
remember my
phone.
dad having one.
My mom had one.
There was one tower on the top of the Empire State Building. That was the
One whole.
only tower in New York.
I guess
That's
we got
hilarious.
lucky and in Charlotte or something. But I remember that. I remember him coming home with that briefcase and this whole, you open it up and raise the antenna, just type in the number, and you had to type in the entire number. I mean,
Right.
I mean like
Starting with a 1.
You
Yeah,
don't have
starting.
to say Siri,
Yes.
call home.
Yeah, or then it wasn't just like 702 blah blah blah. It was a whole
One.
number, one country code, other code, other code, other code. It was like this huge long number.
I remember with payphones, I could remember everybody's phone number. Before cell phones, I could remember every phone number for some reason,
You
and
had
didn't
to.
need a paper to write them down. I remember 30 numbers at a time. This is so and so. This is so and so.
I could tell you my best friend from first grade's phone number right this minute.
That's amazing.
Do it, do it, do it, do it.
Yeah, great. I remember those days of just remembering everything.
But nowadays they get you hooked with the watch, because remember when these smartwatches first came out, you didn't need like a separate cell phone line just for the watch. But now if you disconnect from the phone, you're gonna need it if you got to get a hold of somebody or check something or whatever. So the watches can come in handy for that. I just personally didn't like it because of how it feels. Still felt
all
bulky to
all
me.
my pocket watches up here. That's just like part of my collection. Here's my here's my wristwatches, or some of them, and then a bunch more watches and chains
My
and
oldest son has started collecting pocket watches. It was
ooh,
such a win for us to
nice.
finally be able to know. I know what to get for a Hanukkah gift. I know what to get for this gift now.
It's funny because all watches and everything, even the ones at least in the classrooms at the school that I work at, is digital now. So sometimes kids will just be like, "Oh, what time is it? You know, how long, how much is left in recess or whatever?" And I'll show them my watch, and they're like,
Sure.
I don't know what that is." I'm like, "How do you not know how to tell a clock time, like time on a clock?" Like, because everything is just, you know, it's just the actual digits. It's not the Roman numerals or the hands or anything. Like, and these kids are in like, I've had like third and fourth graders like say this to me. I'm like, how do you not know how to tell? Like,
They don't
what are you
teach
gonna
them
do?
anymore.
Yeah, they don't. I'm like, what are you gonna do if there's, you know, you're somewhere and that's the only type of clock that there is? What do you? How are you? Do you not know this already? You're in like fifth grade, fourth grade. What the hell?
Yeah, it's like kids, they won't know. I feel like kids these days, they're not going to be taught cursive anymore.
Mm,
Nope.
It's
Nope. They already stopped teaching that at least at the school I work at. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
not in the modules anymore, at least in CMS.
yeah, it's like when
But you know what? At
my
this
daughter
moment,
was,
I'm fine with that.
go ahead,
I just
Toasters.
want I just want legible handwriting. I
Yeah.
want I want the E's not to be upside down and look like sixes. Yeah, James knows. He has seen kids' handwriting,
Mhm.
or he loves to capitalize every single J.
I was gonna say the J and the L have to have like distinction.
Well, no, he just loves J's. Jeffrey, come on.
I got something even funnier. I was telling my daughter when she went to the store, I told her the code to get back in the building was 8983 something. I would say, okay, 8931 because it's 4 digits. Then I was like 8931 pound. So she finally gets back from the store and she calls me and she's like, I'm stuck outside. And I'm like, okay, I told you the code. It's 8931. And then she's like, I pressed that, but the door won't open. Then I was like, press pound. And she's like, what is pound? And I was like, really? I was like,
the tic-tac-toe looking thingy.
but I told her it's press hashtag. And then that's when she was like, oh, here it is. And I was like, you know, hashtag used to be pound, like when you were here. Like, we have to change that now to hashtag for people. That's like changing grandma to TC. Like, I'm used to being TC grandma's back then. Now we got to call it TC. And it's like, yeah, I
But
was
at
like,
least in that world, they still know TC and petite balls. But today, nobody's gonna know pound instead of hashtag.
yeah, she was really looking at it like, okay, which one of these would be a pound? And she
She
was
probably just thought you wanted her to punch it.
yeah, I was literally like, pound. I was like, it's by the zero. And she's like, what do you mean it's by the zero? So she's like, I was like, oh, this is serious. Like, we got to teach them what pound is now because I don't even know if we have that on our phones, do we? Is that in the dial thing? Pound? Let me check. Because, oh, we do have it.
It is.
Pound and star. I guess she
Yeah,
never
that's
knew what
still
it was
there.
for.
And we can say asterisk. They might know asterisk or recognize that.
Doubt it. But
Oh, now I have to test that.
I found that hilarious. Yeah.
Somebody
yeah,
here is saying, go ahead.
I did have something to go back to when I was in the parking lot without my phone and all that stuff. When I noticed that I was dealing with something like in my head is when one guy, he was like, hey, how's that food in that building? He was like, is that a good, like, do they have good Mexican food? And I was like, it looks like an American Mexican. I was basically like, I don't know. I haven't been there. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was just like, yeah, man, I just did this Uber and left the phone, the Uber. And he was like, as soon as I looked at you, he was like, I could tell you had something going on up here. Something was wrong. And I was like, you can tell? And he was like, yeah, you look like something is wrong. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I started like, oh, I can feel my heartbeat. I was like, what's going on? Like, literally, I need my phone. And I'm waiting on this guy because the UPS people let me use their phone finally to call over and over. And like I said, he answered, he brought it back. But in the meantime, I was still lost in the streets without a phone and money and ways to contact people because I don't remember numbers. But I remember my own, which is good.
I can't imagine trying to remember anybody's number after having a seizure. I don't know if I could remember my own phone number after having a seizure. And I've had my same phone number for like the last 25 years.
Oh yeah, it's easy to remember. Sometimes I forget my own phone number. People ask me, and I was like, I didn't actually keep track of it. I just know I had a number to call people. That's what happened for like the first few months. And people were like, what's your number? And I was like, hold on 1 second. I'll just call you.
I got lucky on a Saturday. I went to a pharmacy to get my meds, and so I had 3 different ones I was picking up. The guy gave me the first 2. I swiped my my medical card, and then he was like, "Oh, I need to see it again for the 3rd one." So I was like, "All right." So I took my wallet back out to get the card again, and then I just grabbed the medication and left. So I had left my wallet sitting on the counter there at the pharmacy, and this was like, I don't know, like 2 in the afternoon, right? And then I was going out to dinner with a friend, and then so I'm searching everywhere. I cannot find my wallet. I'm freaking out. It's got like, obviously my medical card, everything you would keep in your wallet, just your normal stuff. So I'm freaking out, and I'm like, shit, the only place I've been today is the pharmacy, so it has to be there. So I got my and because it was a Saturday, they close a little bit earlier than they would on a weekday. So I had my mom rush me down to the pharmacy, and thankfully it was there. They found it sitting on the counter, and they put it in the back and held it for me and everything. And I got super lucky. I didn't have to renew, cancel my cards and all of that stuff. But it was just a completely like absent-minded, like nothing, like for no reason. I just left it sitting there, and now I was freaking out because I was like, okay, I have my phone, but I don't use apps or anything, so I don't have any of my like cards or any way to pay for stuff like through apps. I would have been screwed kind of.
Yeah, I tap to pay everything. So when you don't have the phone, And I did have my wallet, which had my cards in it, but I usually keep stuff in savings account. So when it's time to use certain cards, I got to go put the savings into the regular account, just so things don't auto pay by themselves.
Gotcha.
Sometimes that auto pay takes the $20 that I thought I might have saved till next week. You know, it's like, what auto pay? I could have used that $30, but that's how that goes. I put stuff in savings account so I don't go through that. At least I try to. But yeah, we went away from what constitutes a walkable city. That was way long time ago, but we're gonna go through these comments one time. One says, us and European EPIS. What's European EPIS? We'll get back to it later, but it says us European EPIS seem to be more lucky with this kind of thing. Tube, underground buses everywhere, trams, and cities that are pretty well populated, but geographically pretty small. Boston, I live here, I haven't had a seizure in 13 years, so I do have my license and drive locally in my suburb of Quincy for grocery shopping, but otherwise take trains, buses around Quincy and into the city. I lived in DC, which was very walkable. Walking to the grocery store is a bare minimum for a walkable city. Chicago has transit and everything else, but you got to get food easily. If you're in California, visit Pasadena. Very walkable all over. Indeed it is. One more, it says Dublin is compact and relatively flat city, so it's easy to walk around. Public transit has problems, but you only get around using it. Since last year, people who are medically unfit to drive or entitled to free travel in both public and some private transport. That includes many people with epilepsy. Nice. We kind of
So
have
does it make sense if EPIs are just like like how Europe digital pays?
I don't know.
I forget the context.
It made sense.
Tell me your story.
I was this close to dying from a brain abscess that was misdiagnosed.
Good to know people care though.
For a lot of people, the MRIs are clear.
You said you had a lot to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said,
I thought it was normal to have like seizures by yourself all the time.
You definitely will feel guilt a lot.
I so appreciate you putting this together.
thank you.